Hey there guys, my name is Bobby Zefron, and today we're going to talk about 10 basic health and anti-aging tactics that you can use and implement in your life, and yes, all while consuming alcohol. I know you can raise eyebrows, we'll get into it. But number 1, avoid processed food. Number 2, ketogenic diet. Number 3, intermittent fast. Number 4, eat wild plants. Number 5, exercise daily. Number 6, prioritize social engagement. 7, drink alcohol. 8, another one you can raise your eyebrows about, have sex. Number 9, sleep. And number 10, have a strong life purpose. So we'll get right into it. We'll break each one down specifically and share with you the benefits of each. Number 1, avoid processed food. A lot of the foods specifically packaged are processed with terrible oils for you, vegetable, canola, soybean, and they're all hydrogenated oils that cause oxidative damage to our cells and our brain neurons. Refined carbohydrates can cause significant insulin and blood glucose spikes, which result in inflammation. Ideally, we want to keep our insulin levels low so our fat-burning hormones remain on. When our insulin is high, our fat-burning hormones turn off, and we'll get more into that with the next two. But number 2, ketogenic diet. Okay, so as many of you know, you may have just heard of it as some diet, and it's just some fad right now, and it's going to come and go. And you know, a lot of people use it for weight loss or achieving that summer body. That's not why I recommend it or I'm a fan of it. I'm a fan of it because it targets inflammation within the body. We want to decrease inflammation within our body, and the ketogenic diet does exactly that. It's a low carbohydrate, high healthy fat-based diet. Like I mentioned before, reduced insulin equals reduced fat accumulation, meaning when our insulin is low, our hormones, our fat-burning hormones are kept on. When our insulin is high, our fat-burning hormones turn off. When we have reduced insulin and reduced fat accumulation, that will equal increased fatty acid oxidation, meaning we can, instead of storing that fat, we can use that fat as energy. Third, cellular membrane is made up of fats. So our cells are enclosed by the cellular membrane that uses and functions off of the fats we put in it. Our cellular membrane has cellular dysfunction when we give it hydrogenated oils, canola, vegetable, the ones I listed earlier. When we give it healthy fats, it can function properly. Cognitive improvement. It has been shown through research, once you are keto adapted, once you are a couple months in, maybe it only takes you a month. Everybody's different depending on their starting base with carbohydrates and how sugar addicted they were to start out. However, it's been shown 20 to 30% you can reach a cognitive improvement about. You can unlock almost 1/3 of your brain. You can be 1/3 smarter just by altering your diet. And lastly, this is where some skeptics will say the ketogenic diet is not sustainable long term because you need glucose for exercise or just brain function or whatever it may be. But the truth of the matter is, you still have glucose within your body via gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis is the production of glucose without carbohydrate sources. So it comes from non-carbohydrate sources such as excess protein. Let's say I eat too much protein, that gets converted into glucose, which is good, and too much of it is not, but a little bit excess is not a big deal. And that actually usually ends up going straight into muscle glycogen to help repair and replenish your muscles. Number 3, intermittent fast. Now, as you may know, mitochondria is the energy factory of our cells. So when we intermittent fast, it increases mitochondria function, helps with the production of ATP, helps our mitochondria function at its highest level. Cellular autophagy. This is essentially where our cells regenerate, where we clean out old proteins and recycle them. We clean out the microbes, the bad bacteria within our cells. And ultimately, when we intermittent fast, we have a host of health benefits, one being growth hormone increase. Our growth hormone will go up 10 to 15% post-intermittent fasting. At the same time, it will activate IGF-1, which is an insulin growth factor-like hormone that induces protein and cell proliferation and is an important anabolic hormone. As a matter of fact, there's an 8-week study that shows two groups. One group ate at 8 a.m., 1 p.m., and 8 p.m. Group 2 ate at 1 p.m., 4 p.m., and 8 p.m. So group 2 ate within a 7-hour window. They pushed back their breakfast, and group 1 ate within a 12-hour window from 8 to 8. Group 1 had a 2.4% fat loss, while group 2, that just pushed their first meal back 5 hours and ate within that 7-hour window, had a 16.2% fat loss. So almost 14% difference just by pushing their meal back 5 hours. Number 4, eat wild plants. I'll keep this one simple. It's pretty simple. Essential minerals and micronutrients from plants that you can obtain from other sources. Now, granted, some people have autoimmune issues or digestive issues with consuming plants, but generally speaking, most people are pretty good and can benefit from the plant itself. They hold insoluble fibers, insoluble meaning easily digestible. We can digest them easier than regular fibers, or soluble. Rich of antioxidants, plants are rich of them, and also have oxidized cholesterol reducers, essentially help balance out our LDL, HDL cholesterol ratio. Fun little fact, you can actually rip up your kale the night before consuming it, or the morning or a few hours before. Give it at least an hour or two, and it will actually act as a defense mechanism and upregulate the antioxidants in it because it thinks it's getting attacked by an animal of some sort or some other species. So just ripping up your kale a few hours before consuming it will actually increase the antioxidants within it. Number 5, exercise daily. So this one brings a lot of question because people think you need to work out all day, all the time. But in fact, just doing low level to moderate exercise, whether it's walking or having a hex bar and doing some deadlifts at your work office, or buying a kettlebell and doing 20 minutes of a kettlebell circuit, is all you really need. In fact, 60 minutes of anaerobic and 90 minutes of aerobic exercise increase mortality risk, meaning your risk of death is higher when you're working out for that long during those exercise protocols. And I won't get too into it, but EPOC is our exercise post-exercise oxygen consumption period. This is where 6 to 15% of our calories are burned post-exercise. And there's 4 variables that determine how the calories we burn. Number 1, heart rate. Number 2, core body temperature. Number 3, lactate system. Number 4, reoxygenation of myoglobin and hemoglobins. Lactate system plays the biggest role in the calories burned post-workout, but that's for another video and we can get into that then. But moral of the story, exercise daily, and it doesn't have to be anything intense or extreme. You don't have to run a marathon unless you're a marathon athlete or you're training for a triathlon. Then yeah, you probably do need to get some miles in. But if it's just for functionality and for longevity, from a longevity standpoint, just low level to moderate on a daily basis. Number 6. Now, this may sound cliche, but prioritize social engagement. I believe this one gets thrown under the rug and isn't given the attention it should be given. As you may know, there's a loneliness epidemic going on. There's a lot of people turning to, whether it's drugs or alcohol or binge eating, whatever it may be, it's unhealthy. It's an unhealthy way of living. And it's important to engage with others. Matter of fact, blue zones, where people tend to live the longest, where there's the biggest presence of centenarians, they seem to interact and be a very tight-knit group, and whether they believe religiously or spiritually, they're all interconnected and interact on a daily basis, which of course reduce cortisol levels. When you're alone, whether you're binge eating or stress eating, whatever it may be, cortisol levels are jacked up, you're stressed out. It's not good long term. It's okay to cause stress to your body in a hormetic manner, in a process known as hormesis, but to have constant stress and to retain the stress is not good for anyone. And lastly, I leave you with a quote that I think it was Drew Manning and Michael Boyle, a renowned strength and conditioning coach at the FitCon Expo in Salt Lake City this past summer, I learned from. They quoted from an author, "People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care." And that's just the very truth of it all. Always give that lending hand, always be willing to get out of your comfort zone, interact with somebody, because you never know what's at the other side of that conversation or what can come from it. Okay, so before you get on your phones and keyboards and start typing some outrageous comment, number 7, drink alcohol. I understand alcohol is a neurodepressant and works to calm the central nervous system. Alcohol is also a neurotoxin and can be quite harmful to your brain, your liver, if overconsumed. However, it has a host of health benefits if you drink it in a moderate manner. First off, alcohol has flavonoids. Flavonoids are essentially the artery scrubbing compounds of your arteries. So flavonoids essentially get rid of the excess plaque that is built up in your arteries and actually reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease, reduce the risk of heart disease by this mechanism. Wine, specifically red wine, they have polyphenols and specifically resveratrol, which is an anti-aging and anti-inflammatory compound that has been shown to prevent the body from oxidative damage. Fun fact, actually one of my favorite wines and my go-to and preferred red wine is Pinot Noir. It has the highest concentration of resveratrol. Like I mentioned, alcohol calms the central nervous system and reduces stress, lowers the cortisol levels via the GABA receptors. As soon as you have that first drink of alcohol, the alcohol actually works as an agonist against the GABA receptors, which is your major neurotransmitter of the central nervous system. Lastly, if none of this persuaded you enough, alcohol has neuroprotective properties and can actually increase your lifespan. There's research out there that shows that people who drink 1 to 3 glasses of alcohol a day are 3 times more likely to live to age 85 compared to non-drinkers. They are also 2 times more likely to have increased cognitive ability and stage off the risk of Alzheimer's and dementia versus non-drinkers at age 85. So not only can it increase lifespan, it can increase or decrease the risk, I should say, of neurological diseases. Number 8, raise the eyebrows. Okay, we will get into it. Sex has a host of hormonal benefits, one being DHEA spike. Secondly, it can help circulate the lymphatic system. So when you are having sex, you are getting rid of a lot of heavy toxins, metals, all the bad things in your body that you need to excrete and get rid of. When you have sex, essentially it is like a lymphatic massage. You are moving the lymph through the body. Lastly, probably the best benefit I think from it, immune system boosting. When you have sex, you generate up to 20% more white blood cells, which of course you know are the infection fighting cells in our DNA. Number 9, sleep. What can I say? So if I had a scale from least important to most important, let's say exercise is here, diet is here, and then sleep is here. Sleep is at the top for me. It's most important. Diet and exercise go back and forth hand in hand, depending on the day, depending if, I want to splurge a little, but sleep is always number one. This is the time where your cells regenerate, where your ATP and energy production is made, where your tissues regenerate, whether it's exercise causing damage to them or whatever the case may be, they need time to regenerate. On the other end of the spectrum, sleep deprivation can increase CRP levels, which are a major marker for inflammation throughout the body. It is not good if our CRP levels are high, we want them low. It can increase weight gain. It can cause cognitive decline. You can start experiencing brain fog throughout the day. Lastly, it can decrease immune system functioning. I mean, of course, if you try to pull an all-nighter and then you try to pull another one, eventually it's going to catch up to you. You may get sick, you may experience some ill effects, whatever the case may be. You can only stay up so long. You need sleep. It is critical. Lastly, number 10, and this kind of relates to number 6, but it's a lot more meaningful and powerful to me as I lose my voice here. But number 10, have a strong life purpose. Have a reason to wake up every day. If you are just going through the motions and you don't have an end goal in mind or something to work towards or a passion of yours that you're just dying to get to, and whether it's your job or whatever the case may be, having no purpose is only going to make things worse. It's going to increase cortisol levels. Your stress is going to be through the roof. That's going to result in hormonal imbalances. I know this is small, so just hear me out here. That's going to result in hormonal imbalances, and then that's going to lead to poor habits, whether it's binge eating or whatever the case may be. And that is going to ultimately lead for substitutions for happiness. You're going to be seeking alternatives because you don't know, or you can't find your true purpose in life. If you have a clear sight, if you have a purpose, you're not going to be turning to alcohol to go party on the weekends. You're not going to be turning to go hang out with your buddies at 3 a.m. in the morning because it's a cool thing to do, or whatever the case may be. It's okay to do those once in a while. I'm guilty of it too. I'm not saying you can't have fun. But what I am saying is it's very important to possess a strong life purpose, and I think I learned this in Salt Lake City this past summer. I went there for the FitCon Expo, and I think it was Ben Greenfield. He told everybody in the crowd they should know what they're most passionate about. They should have a life purpose. And so, and going into that, I had an idea of what I'm put on this earth for and what I want to do. And so on the way home, on the flight home, I pulled out my notebook and wrote down what I'm most passionate about. I thought about my experiences athletically and work-wise, and all my time I devote towards this and research, and ultimately I came to the conclusion my life purpose is to inspire, educate, and help as many as you that I can reach live a healthy, happy, and ideally the longest life possible. And that's my life purpose. That's why I'm excited every day to work towards this. I try to do as much as I can so I have the opportunity to share this information with you guys. But not to get all sentimental, but it's important to possess a strong life purpose. It goes a long way. It's more than just the food you eat or the exercise you do or the minutes on the treadmill. It plays a huge role in your happiness and longevity. And I think that's going to do it because I'm losing my voice, and that's all 10 basic health and anti-aging tactics that you can use in your life. And hopefully this was useful. If it was, comment down below. Let me know what you would like to see in the next one. I don't know, I think that's about it, guys. I really enjoyed you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Give it a thumbs up. Feel free to like and share, and comment down below what you would like to see in the next video. And that will do it. See you later.